Universal Studios Beijing is the only Universal theme park in China. While young, this park already boasts an impressive collection of 7 themed lands. These are filled with immersive rides and shows, some of which are completely unique to this park. This will be an in-depth review of the park, covering everything you need to know if you want to visit. I will cover how it compares to the chain's other theme parks, and I'll include some tips along the way about traveling to China and some key differences there. Universal began discussions about a theme park in China in the early 2010s. In 2014, Universal announced plans to build Universal Studios Beijing. It would be located in the Tongzhou district of Beijing. The project was originally intended to open in 2018, but it was ultimately pushed to 2021 due to a combination of construction and COVID-19 delays. The park opened in September 2021, but it had a rocky initial year. The park was forced to close for several weeks due to rising COVID-19 cases. But the park has really found its footing from 2023 onwards. It has become one of the most visited theme parks in the entire world. It admitted over 9 million guests in both 2023 and 2024, and their attendance has only been growing. As with the other Universal properties, this is a full-fledged resort. At this time, there is just one theme park, but it is among the chain's largest in terms of acreage. This is complemented by 2 on-site hotels, one of which is directly above the main entrance. Then there's a robust CityWalk filled with shops and restaurants, many of which will be familiar to you if you've visited the other Universal resorts. I stayed closer to downtown Beijing, as I was at Happy Valley the previous day. I was easily able to access Universal via a subway train at Universal Resort Station. Alternatively, you can drive or use a ride-hailing service. There's a large pickup and drop-off area just outside of CityWalk. If you are used to Uber such as myself, the analogous service in China is Didi. This was quick and affordable. When I needed one leaving the park, I ordered this directly through the Alipay app, which is a must if you're visiting China. More on that shortly. If you have your own vehicle, the complex is a large paid parking lot. It costs 100 Chinese yuan, which is roughly $15 US. That's much more reasonable than what the Universal parks charge stateside. If you are visiting with luggage such as myself, you are able to store it before you even get into CityWalk. There's a designated counter for larger bags, or you can purchase a locker. I chose the latter because I was traveling with just a large backpack. This cost 80 yuan, or $11 US. This ties into the next topic I want to discuss: payments. Many places in China do not accept credit cards, and they don't really like taking cash either. The preferred forms of payments are Alipay and WeChat. This is a barcode you show. Think of it like Venmo for a business. You want to set these up before you arrive in China because there is an identity verification step that is not instant. It is also worth noting that Alipay has a series of mini apps that are important. I already mentioned Didi, but this is also how you access the Universal Beijing app. There, you can view wait times, all the attractions, and the park map. If you go to China, you need to become one with Alipay. I believe Universal is actually one of the rare businesses that accepted credit cards, but that was the anomaly during my brief visit to China. And if I recall, the locker specifically only took Alipay or WeChat. It is also worth noting they are unlocked using facial recognition technology, which is another common theme with this resort. You see, your face is linked to your ticket. This ensures it is not shared with another person. Another thing I have learned in my trips to Asia is that many websites will not accept Western credit cards. If you want to buy your tickets in advance, I strongly recommend KlugerTrip.com. The park uses dynamic pricing, charging more during holiday periods. Over the next 2 months, the price ranges from $55 to $93 US. I thought this price was more than fair for a park of this caliber, especially if you visit on one of the cheaper days. Even on the higher end, it is cheaper than the American Universal parks. When you arrive at the resort, you walk through CityWalk. This is a series of flashy shops and restaurants. If you're looking for a bite to eat, my favorite place there is the Red Oven Pizza Bakery. They are quick and tasty. I went here after the park closed because most restaurants here stay open later than the park. Now if you want to go here midday, You will want to check with the park if re-entry is allowed. I never checked during my visit because I stayed open to close, but many parks in Asia do not allow re-entry, including Universal Studios Japan. At the end of CityWalk, you have the usual rotating Universal Globe, which is a can't-miss photo opportunity. Then in front of you, you have the Universal Grand Hotel. This doubles as the park's main entrance. It also blocks your view of the theme park, setting up a fabulous reveal once inside. The center of the park is a large lagoon, which is a feature we've seen at other Universal parks. You can get a panoramic vista of the park's lands, but the centerpiece here is different. There's a large mountain in the center with a waterfall. I particularly love how this looks at night, which is a recurring theme at this park. Now let's run through the 7 themed areas. Some are larger and more elaborate than others. Most lands are immersive and full of details. Now if you visit on a super sunny or rainy day, there are plenty of covered spaces and indoor areas to duck into. The entrance area is known as Hollywood Boulevard. It is a beautiful main street lined with some shops and eateries. It is worth noting that most of this midway is covered, which is common with several other parks in Asia. Going clockwise, you will encounter Jurassic World. It has a lush jungle setting with all the plants and vegetation. It feels way different than every other area here. Then this land is dominated by 3 structures. First is the Pyramid Show building for Jurassic World Adventure. Second is the Aviary, which is an indoor area. You will find several of these at this park. It feels like Camp Jurassic, just enclosed. Third is the mountain that Jurassic Flyers weaves its way around and through. Next is Transformers Metro Base. This land has a futuristic vibe to it. Decepticoaster dominates this land with its launch tunnel. You hear the mechanized roar whenever a train cycles. Then this land really comes alive at night. The buildings, rides, and pathways all have these LED strips that illuminate and glow. It looks like something out of a dream. This leads to Kung Fu Panda Land of Awesomeness. This is the park's largest indoor area because it encompasses the full land, not just a subset. The entrance area has some screens with characters from the films, but it's the main area that stands out. It is dimly lit to always feel like nighttime. You have all these illuminated lanterns hanging from the ceiling. Then this is complemented by a series of structures and temples with traditional Chinese architecture. The next land doesn't really feel like a land, but the park classifies it as one. It is called Waterworld. It is tiny, and basically just serves as an entrance plaza for the stage show of the same name. Then there's the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. If you visited this land at the other parks, this will feel similar in a good way. It is an extremely immersive area lined with all the shops and restaurants from the films. Then in the back, you have Hogwarts Castle overlooking the area. It is a beautiful photo opportunity. There are 2 cons with this area though. One, the pathways and store aisles are extremely narrow, so this land always feels congested. This is a commonality with the land at all the parks. 2, the show building for Forbidden Journey is not hidden from guest view, so it awkwardly is seen jutting out from behind the castle. The final area is Minions Land. This is a colorful and zany land. There's an outdoor section, but I particularly like the indoor area, Super Silly Fun Land. It feels like its own miniature amusement park, complete with a few rides, games, and activities. Now let's run through the attraction lineup. I will start with the roller coasters. This park currently has 4 of them. Only one is a true thrill coaster though. That is Decepticoaster. This is a sit-down looping coaster from Bolliger and Mabillard. It features a powerful uphill launch and 7 different inversions. The inversions offer a mix of hang time and positive Gs. The first half is amazing, super well paced and forceful, but the second half fizzles out. This layout is nearly identical to the Incredible Hulk coaster at Islands of Adventure, but the elements were modified to have less snap and positive Gs. However, a few were adjusted to offer more hang time, and the overall ride experience is smoother. If you want a more in-depth comparison of the 2 rides, I have a full review already published to the channel. This is a nice major coaster, but I would love to see another in the future, particularly one focusing on airtime. Then the park has 3 other coasters falling more into the family demographic. Jurassic Flyers is a mock-inverted powered coaster. The other installations worldwide are heavily themed experiences with dark ride sections. This one takes a different approach. It instead feels more like a high-speed monorail. You first spiral around the busy aviary, then you head outdoors for some helixes around the mountain. These offer some decent Gs, which I was not expecting. Flight of the Hippogriff is a mock Young Star coaster, identical to the one found at Universal Studios Hollywood. This particular version is wilder than the other Hippogriff coasters. The initial helix is solid Gs. Then there's a sudden transition into the second helix that offers some airtime and whip if you're in the back row. The final coaster is Loop-de-Doop-de. This is a junior coaster from Jinma Rides. It is weird to see one of their coasters at a major park like this. I like this ride's indoor setting in Super Silly Funland, and how a monster eats the track at one point. But the layout itself is very tame, exerting barely any force. That does make it a great option for a kid's first coaster at least. Moving on to the dark rides, this is where this park truly excels. The best of the bunch is Jurassic World Adventure. This has a strong case as the world's best dark ride. You have some of the largest, most realistic animatronics ever devised. The dinosaurs are genuinely terrifying as they chase after you. Then this is paired with some crystal clear screens with the actors and actresses from the film. And then you ride in an enhanced motion vehicle that shakes and spins throughout, adding a genuine thrill element. There are some violent spins in this ride that caught me off guard. This ride alone makes this park a must for dark ride fans, and I have a whole review explaining why. Another dark ride unique to this park is Kung Fu Panda Journey of the Dragon Warrior. This is a boat ride. It passes a mix of character animatronics and screens. Then there are two drops, the second of which can actually get you a little bit wet. It is worth noting this is the only water ride of any kind at the resort. The other three dark rides were cloned from other Universal parks. Harry Potter Forbidden Journey is another top-tier dark ride. You ride a robotic arm that flings you about, offering a high thrill component. Then the ride mixes in large set pieces and screens. I absolutely love the scale of some scenes such as the Whomping Willow and the Dementor Chase. The screens in this one seemed a bit darker than other versions though, but the experience was otherwise identical, which is a positive thing. Transformers Battle for the Allspark is identical to the Transformers ride stateside. Like Jurassic World, you sit in an EMV, but the motion is milder. Still, it adds to the experience. This has a series of 3D screens as a chaotic battle unfolds in front of you. The action can get a little busy and hard to follow at points, but the action never relents. The final dark ride is the weakest of the five, Despicable Me Minion Mayhem. This is a simulator that kids absolutely love. I prefer the other dark rides that are more story-driven. This, meanwhile, is non-stop cartoony antics from the Minions, but is still fun. Universal parks typically are limited in the flat ride department, and that is the case here as well. You only have 4. Bumblebee Boogie is the most notable of the quartet. It is a teacup ride. The cups are extremely hard to spin though, and since groups are paired, you may get stuck with a group that doesn't want to spin. But the dance party atmosphere is cool between the disco lights and music. The other 3 flats are found in the indoor sections. You have a balloon ride, a carousel, and a Dumbo-style ride. These are good options for kids, especially since they usually have short waits. There aren't any pure kiddie rides per se, but so many attractions at this park can be experienced together as a family. Then they do have 2 large play areas, one the Kung Fu Panda area, and another inside Jurassic World's aviary. Kids could spend hours here climbing on both of these. Then this park has a series of shows. I did not see some of them such as Sing on Stage, but I caught several others. Lights Camera Action is a stunt spectacular similar to Backdraft or Twister Ride It Out. You stand on a soundstage as you experience a typhoon. This includes water, wind, and fire effects. The latter is particularly impressive as the stage is engulfed by flames. Untrainable is a How to Train Your Dragon themed show that can also be found at Epic Universe. It combines musical numbers with large dragon floats. Then there are 2 points when Hiccup flies over the audience, which is such a neat visual to see. The most notable show here is Waterworld. This is a stunt spectacular that is most likely the park's best show. I have seen this at the Hollywood and Japan parks, and I love it. The mix of fighting and jet ski stunts is fantastic. However, I was not able to catch it during my visit due to the weather. In a similar vein, I was not able to see the park's parade for the exact same reason, which I'd heard good things about. If you have not been able to tell from my footage, I visited this park on an extremely rainy day. Beijing had a yellow warning for rain and experienced torrential downpours for most of the day. They received a whopping 3.5 inches of rain the day I visited. This definitely impacted my visit in multiple ways. For one, roller coaster availability was a major issue. Many Asian parks do not run their coasters in the rain, and that was the case here. Universal would only open the queue for their outdoor coasters when the rain completely stopped. Once the rain started, they would close the queue, trying to cycle through everyone already in line as long as it stayed a light rain. Once a heavy rain started, they would stop running the ride altogether. There were only 2 short windows when the outdoor coasters were able to operate. I anxiously camped by Decepticoaster for the first hour of the day, hoping it would open. It did briefly, and I was able to get 3 quick laps on it. I then hightailed it over to Jurassic Flyers before that queue closed down. The rain stopped briefly in the afternoon, allowing me to ride Flight of the Hippogriff. However, the park closed the queue for Decepticoaster before I got over there. I'm just thankful the park even bothered to open these rides for the short windows they could, and that I was able to experience them. Fortunately, a majority of this park's attractions are indoors. By the evening, the park completely filtered out, and almost everything was a walk-on. People were sick of getting rained on. I was able to marathon Jurassic World Adventure for the last 2 hours, many times being the only guest in the vehicle. That was a surreal experience to have at a park as large as Universal. Most days, you are going to have to battle crowds though. Many rides here have high throughputs and fast operations. This is what I have come to expect with Universal. The lines here are more a function of high demand. The longest lines typically are for their family coasters and the 3 most popular dark rides. The family coasters generate long waits due to their lower throughputs. Per QTimes.com, Jurassic Flyers typically has a wait in the 60 to 90 minute range. Then Flight of the Hippogriff and Loop-de-Doop-de are typically just a hair shorter than that. Then Harry Potter Forbidden Journey, Transformers, and Jurassic World Adventure all routinely have 45 to 90 minute waits as well. Despicable Me Minion Mayhem is another bad wait, often hovering around the 45 to 60 minute mark. This was not necessarily a must depending on your tastes, but again, kids are a big fan of this one. The remaining rides, including Decepticoaster, usually have queues under the 30-minute mark. The rides in the Kung Fu Panda area in particular typically have really short waits. It is worth noting if you have specific seating requests such as the front or back rows, most attendants will try to honor it. That is good, especially if you waited a while. Just be willing to wait an extra cycle if needed. At one point, this park used to offer single rider lines, but at this time, they are no longer offered. That is really unfortunate because they save a lot of time with the other Universal properties, particularly with their major coasters and dark rides. If these return in the future, they'll make it much easier to tour this park if you're solo or willing to split up your party. This park offers express passes if you want to bypass the waits. These can be major time savers on busy days. You often board the attractions in less than 2 or 3 minutes, but they are extremely pricey, some of the priciest of any theme park out there. And to add insult to injury, they only allow you to experience the rides once. These are purchased with your admission ticket and linked to your face. This means you cannot share your express pass with a friend or family member. I know some people do that at other parks. There are 3 different express options: 3 ride, 5 ride, and all ride. 3 ride allows you to skip the line once for 2 of the most popular dark rides. Then you can pick one smaller attraction. It is worth noting this does not include the roller coasters, so I'd recommend Despicable Me because it typically saves the most time. This costs an extra $120 to $140 on top of your admission ticket, so you're basically paying $40 to $47 to skip each ride, which is absolutely insane. 5 Ride is an even worse deal. This too allows you to skip the line once for 2 of the most popular dark rides. Then you pick 3 smaller attractions, most of which usually have short waits anyway. This costs an extra $130 to $200 on top of your ticket. All Ride allows you to skip each ride in the park once. This costs an extra $250 to $300 per person. This will save you a lot of time, especially because it includes all the dark rides and all 4 roller coasters. Just know it'll really burn a hole in your wallet. If you want Express, make sure to buy these days in advance. It typically is sold out the day of, and sometimes the day or 2 prior as well. It really is unfortunate you cannot make the determination day of as with some other parks. I think a more affordable way to get a jump on crowds is to stay on site. You can get these rooms for roughly $200 per night, which is a really good deal. You get a fantastic and convenient hotel room, and you get 1 hour of early entry. This is extremely limited, so rides are typically walk-ons. Usually, Minion Land and the Wizarding World are available. During that hour, you should be able to knock out Loop-de-Doop-de, Minion Mayhem, Flight of the Hippogriff, and Forbidden Journey. Those are 4 of the 7 rides with the longest waits. Then once the park officially opens, you can quickly head over to Jurassic World to do both Jurassic Flyers and Jurassic World Adventure. Then if you head back to Metro Base quickly, Transformers may still have a manageable wait. It may still be a 30 to 45 minute wait, but that is better than what it'll be midday. With some luck, you may have just completed the park's 7 busiest rides in the first 2 to 2.5 hours, allowing you to really experience the park at your leisure the rest of the day. How should you tour this park if you do not have early entry? I recommend arriving at least 1 hour before the park opens. I arrived just 15 minutes before the park opened, and there was already a sizable queue to get in. It took probably 20 to 30 minutes just to enter the park, and again, I visited on a lower attendance day. If you want the family coasters, I would recommend starting with Loop-de-Doop-de and Flight of the Hippogriff. Those are 2 lines you do not want to get stuck in because they move slowly and they do not have much to look at. And you should be able to experience those quickly. Then I would try to hit Forbidden Journey while you're already in the Wizarding World. I would then try to get to Jurassic World to see if those rides still have manageable waits. Prioritize Jurassic Flyers of the 2 if the wait is 30 minutes or less. Jurassic World Adventure tends to have a shorter wait on average, and it has the cooler queue in my opinion. If you don't care about the family coasters, my recommendation is to start with Jurassic World, then move to Metro Base for Transformers and Decepticoaster. Midday, hit the rides with the shorter waits and shows. Then you can save the other long queue rides for the evening when crowds start to drop. It seems like this park keeps queue lines open right up until park close, so that is a great time to hop in line for something like Transformers. How much time do you need? If you have the highest tier Express Pass or visit on a poorer weather day like me, you can easily do this park in a day. If you follow my touring approach, I think you can do all major rides in one day as well. If you want to do every single ride multiple times and hit all the shows, I think that is when you'll need a second day. There are quite a few food offerings across the park. My go-to for food inside a Universal Park is 3 Broomsticks. I absolutely love the fish and chips there. It does not matter which location you visit, they all taste equally as amazing. I didn't try any other food in the park though, so I cannot speak too much else about it. Then for merchandise, there are several shops. You will not find much ride or park branded merchandise. Most items are just themed to the individual characters or intellectual properties, but if you want those, they have plenty of things available. Some final notes before wrapping up this review. First, this park is very bag friendly. All your belongings ride with you on most attractions. Jurassic Flyers has lockers before you join the queue. Then Decepticoaster has free lockers towards the end of the queue. You must put everything in there, including your phone, wallet, and keys. Nothing can be in your pockets, which is a policy that Universal has used in many of their recent thrill coasters. 2. Glasses can be worn in all attractions here. Many Asian parks ban glasses of any kind in thrill rides, including Universal Studios Japan, so it was a refreshing change of pace here. I wore contacts just to be safe, but that is good to know for future reference. 3. This park offers Wi-Fi. However, if you are a foreigner, many Western websites and apps will be blocked. This is a general theme across China. I strongly recommend using an alternative method for internet. I know from a friend's trip that Verizon's Travel Pass works here. Alternatively, you can purchase a mobile hotspot device. I have one from GlocalMe that works fantastic. 4. Staff members here speak very little English. They would only know a few basic words such as numbers or hello. But they were willing to work with you if you converse with them over a translation app at least. Do I recommend Universal Studios Beijing? Absolutely. This is a fantastic park and I cannot wait to see it grow more in the future. It already features a robust collection of themed areas and lands. I absolutely love this park's dark rides. Then that is paired with a nice major coaster, some decent family coasters, and some exciting shows. The park can get busy, but that's pretty typical for a Universal park. Just go in with a smart touring plan and you can mitigate that issue most days. How does this place stack up to the other Universal parks? I think it's towards the middle for me, but the chain has a very high bar, so that is still a glowing compliment. The attraction lineup is strong, especially for such a new park. I would just love to see a major airtime-based coaster in the future that would truly complete the ride lineup in my opinion. While there were some familiar rides, there were some one-of-a-kind experiences here like Jurassic World Adventure. Then the overall themed lands felt way different than their other parks. The one reused area in the Wizarding World is amazing, so I don't mind its inclusion. I could see this park becoming as strong as the Japan location in the future if they get another major thrill coaster. Those are my thoughts on Universal Studios Beijing. What are your thoughts on China's only Universal theme park? How do you think it stacks up to the other ones out there? Let me know down in the comments. If there are any questions you have about visiting this park that I didn't address, I can try to answer those down below as well. If you enjoyed this review, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you consider subscribing, because we have a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching,